In this training module, we're going to talk about student status, and that includes testing, student progress, and just some general guidance on making decisions about students' next steps, I should say. So I'm going to go to page 12 if you're following along in your books or if you're just following along on here. Student status. We use several terms to talk about student status in our program, and you need to know what those are to really understand the processes that occur in adult education. The first thing I want you to know is that Jobs for TN is the database used to track our students. It's sometimes referred to as JOBS. It can also be referred to as VOS, a virtual one-stop. And let me go ahead and put that in here. If you hear the term VOS, that is synonymous with Jobs for TN. So a student can have one of four statuses in Jobs for TN. Active means that the student is attending class and has an open application. Inactive means that the student's application is inactive in the tracking system because no attendance hours have been logged. If this student doesn't return, the system will eventually close the application. The computer does that, not staff. If the student has earned a diploma or made a gain, that's okay. We want them to close when the time is right because they've met their goals with us. But if that student has not met a goal, we should do everything possible to bring the student back into the program. Inactive is the time that's most critical. We need to catch these students who are inactive and have not met a goal because we want to keep them in the program until they meet their goals. If we don't get them back into the program, the application will close. So the adult education application will close. That does not mean, though, that the person exits because he or she may have an application open with one of our partners. So the adult education application is closed. You can still bring the student back in at this point. But once the student has exited the tracking system, they're officially gone. So they must go through orientation again to return to the program. And once they exit, we cannot make changes to that application. So we don't want them to exit unless they have met a goal. That's called a positive exit. When the student leaves us, but they've earned a diploma or another skills gain, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. They exit after meeting a goal. That's called a positive exit. We want those. Negative exits, we don't want. That's when the student exits the program without meeting any goals. It's very important here. I'm even going to highlight it. If a student tells you that he or she is going to be leaving, talk to your data person immediately to see if testing needs to be done. Because it could be that that student may be ready for a post-test. We definitely want to try to make the exit a positive one if we can. So when we refer to status in Jobs for TN, it will be one of those four: active, inactive, closed, or exited. Student hours. Students are classified as either registered, which is less than 12 hours of attendance, or enrolled, which is 12 hours or more. The student does not show up on federal reports until they are enrolled. So we want to get them to the 12 hours, and then we want to get them to their goal. Okay. The status reports. Every month, I will send out a status report for all of the programs in our district. And I need every staff member to look at that status report carefully. You can get a status report from your lead instructor also. I need you to do a few things for me. First, I need you to compare the diplomas and the level gains on my report with those in your records. Is everybody showing up who is supposed to? If names are missing, let your lead instructor know immediately. There is a list of students for post-testing on the status report. I want you to look at that list carefully. And if you have students on there, we need to get them post-tested. If they get to 60 hours of attendance and no post-test, that's an audit finding. So we need to keep a close eye on the students on the post-test list and the hours they have. And I'm going to show you a status report here in just a minute, probably in the next video clip, so you can see what one looks like, and we'll talk about it in a little more detail. I need you to check your inactive students. Look at that list. If you know why a student has stopped attending, tell your data person. We can put a case note in. Also, it needs to be documented on the contact record in the student's paper file. If you do not know why your student has stopped attending, contact him or her immediately. Because remember, when that student is inactive, we can still recover the file and help prevent those negative exits. The last page of the status report is a page for notes. Always read the notes to see if there are actions that need to be taken. And then audit findings on the status report are always highlighted in yellow, and those items need immediate attention. If you see something on the status report that is highlighted in yellow, it needs to be addressed immediately.